So here we are continuing with the previous video only, which we did about the if, the different ways of using if and elif and the nested if. So here we are going to start first with the sample questions with which the CBSE definitely wants us, to use and to know. So let's talk about the very first question, which says to accept three numbers and sort them in ascending order. Now, what is sorting? Sorting, you all know, when we are talking about arranging the data in, because we don't know whether A has a largest number or B has a largest number, and we are assuming that we're going to sort it in ascending order only. Okay, so have a look at this program. It's again very simple. Take the three numbers. Now, first of all, when you have to check whether your first number is greater than the second number, that means this is not the smaller number. Which is a smaller number? B is a smaller number. So you are exchanging or you are interchanging both of them. Simultaneously, there could be a possibility that A is greater than B, because you haven't checked simultaneously B also. Okay, now you're going to check the value of A with C. Okay, so if A is greater than B, say for example, A is say 3 and B is say 2. So 3 is definitely greater. That means now A will going to have the value 2 after the execution of this particular statement, and B will going to have the value of 3. Now suppose it's C also. So you need to check how is A now related to C. Suppose C is 1. Therefore, 2 is again greater than C. So you're going to just check whether it is greater. In case it is greater, you will swap the two values, and finally you'll compare the value of B with C. So once you get that, you will be able to get the answer. So for example, if there are three numbers A, B and C as 5, 6 and 4 that you're trying to execute, so in that case you will, after the execution of this particular statement or these commands, you will going to see the answer as 4, 5, 6, which means A has been changed to 4, B has been changed to 5 and C has been changed to 6. Let's take another example which says accept a value and find it absolute. Now what is an absolute value, children? Absolute value basically means that if you have a negative number, you just convert it into a positive number and display it as it is. So how do you check whether it is a given number is a negative number or not? If it is less than 0, obviously. If it is less than 0, what are you supposed to do? Your absolute number is, you're basically multiplying the number with -1. So when you multiply, we know negative into negative will become positive. So when you multiply it with -1, you will going to get its positive value. Otherwise, there is no need to change. So here, just see the execution. Here, if we are having a number 4 and we are trying to find whether what is the absolute value of 4, I will just go to the else part in this case, because it is definitely not less than 0. But what if it's -5? -5 is for sure less than 0. Therefore, the absolute value is -5 getting multiplied with -1, and hence my answer will be 5. Let's take a third case. You are basically accepting a number and you're checking whether it is divisible by 3 and 5. If you have seen my previous video where we were checking whether a given number is divisible by 3 and 2 both, so you will be able to quickly understand this kind of question also. So what are we supposed to do? You are just supposed to check two conditions simultaneously with an AND logical operator. So just check whether the given number A is a multiple of 5 and at the same time it is a multiple of 3. So if both the conditions are true, you are printing that it's divisible by both the numbers. What if it is just divisible by 5 and it is not divisible by 3? So you can use another logical operator called as NOT. So in this case, you will going to see that it is divisible by 5 nor by 3. So this is a third way of doing the same program which I have done in my previous video. So as I said, you just have to be very clear with the commands, and you can find the solution of any program, children, in your own way. It's not necessary that you have to follow one particular method, as long as your method is correct and it is following the guidelines of just simplicity. Please go ahead. A true programmer is somebody, who thinks himself or herself and tries to experiment with the command. So keep experimenting, never hesitate. And finally, just check whether the number given is 15. It is of course divisible by both, but if you're giving a number 12, it is only divisible by 3, not by 5. Now I come to a very interesting thing, which are called as single liner ifs. They are also called as ternary operator in Python. Now why do we need a single liner? Because sometimes we just have to take a quick decision. find the largest of the two numbers, find the smallest of the two numbers. So where we don't want to write the command completely into a in different ways, we can always use single liner if. I'll tell you a very, very interesting thing in this. So let's take a case over here, and if I need to just check whether a given number a is, for example, divisible by 2 or not. I mean, I just need to check whether the number is an even number or an odd number. So one way is doing like this: if a mod 2 is equal to 0, I just have to print even, else I just have to print odd. Okay, so that's a simple way that we have just learned. Now this could be converted into a single liner if else also. And how am I supposed to convert this? So what I'll do is I'll just put that into a comment section like this, and I'll just write its equivalent value. So I simply say print. Okay, just remember this when you're saying print. And then you start printing. How are you supposed to start printing? Then if the condition is true, so if I am just copy pasting, and see how I am copy pasting without the colon. So if the given condition is true, that means if a mod 2 is equal to 0, what am I supposed to print? Even. So copy even, and even should come on the left side of if. Just see, I've already written print, so I don't have to write print. Okay, and immediately after if, what will I type? I'll type else. So can you see, if the given condition is true, I am supposed to do this. Else, what am I supposed to do? I'm supposed to print the message called as odd. Okay, and that's it. Can you see now? This is a single liner if which I've got, and if I try to execute my program, children, I will going to get the same response. If I enter the value 5, I will get the answer odd. Similarly, if I'm trying to execute and if I'm having a number 4, I'll get the value even. So that's again a very, very simple way. That's one of the ways. The second way is, what if I don't want to have a message directly printed? If I'm finding it a little confusing, what you can do is, you can say, if I put a hash on this and I say, what else is the way I can also do this? Just copy paste the whole statement. These are different ways of doing the same task. But store this answer. These are the answers on the basis of the given condition. So if the condition is true, this is the answer. If the condition is false, this is the answer. So this answer can be stored in another variable s, and s is what you can print. So simply say print s. That means the answer will going to get stored in s, and s is what you're printing. If I try to execute my program, if I enter the value 4, can you see I'm getting the same answer, but this time my answer is not directly printed. It first gets stored in s, and s is what is getting printed. I hope you've understood this part. So if still there is a confusion, I'll just coming with a quick recap. So it says for having a single line. Now if you see, I have written over there that it's the first method, because there is another method of using a single liner if, and again it's interesting. So there are so many ways Python is actually providing you to use if else. So for single liners, you can say there is a variable or a simple print expression is there. So a variable is equal to what value that variable should have if the given condition is true, and what value a variable should have if, that means else, if the condition is false. Or you can directly use an expression, or you can use a print statement. If the condition is true, else you can directly, which means, I just want to tell you this thing also, that it means if I'm just using this part or I'm using this part, I can even do like this. Now look here children, I can even copy paste the whole thing, and I can even say print with a complete statement, else print with a complete statement. So whichever way you're feeling comfortable, you can use this. If I'm trying to execute the program and if I'm saying 5, I will see the answer odd. So either you can use it with a single print statement with the bracket, everything enclosed within a bracket, or you can use different print statements like individually for if as well as else, which are written on the same line, or you can use a variable and you can do it like this. So there are different ways to write the same program. This is what I've just done with you. So check. So I've just used a single print statement. That's the first way. I can use another variable, and that's the second way. and I can use a simple if else by using a simple or the old if else method. If it's a single liner thing, I can even use the third way. So it's completely up to you children what method you're comfortable in, but you should be knowing the ternary operator in Python because it can always be asked in the examination. Now let's go on to the next case, which is the second expression. Now second expression or the second single liner if is again interesting, which I'll just going to tell you. So here, if I just remove everything over there, okay, I'm not, so that there shouldn't be a confusion. I have a number A with me, and in this case, I would just like to have another value, I mean that is the answer in S. So I can always say like this, just have a round bracket and use a square bracket. So the condition is always given in a square bracket. That means if I say A mod 2 is equal to 0, obviously if it's A mod 2 equal to 0, there has to be a result for this. If the answer is true, then please children remember the true answer this time becomes closer to the square bracket, which means if I want to have even, it will be closer. But what if the condition is not true? That should come first. So here it is odd. So that part should not be confusing at all for you. Just remember, if this given condition which is written within the square bracket is true, then I want to print this. If this square bracket is not true, that means it is false. I would like to print this. So just another way of using a print statement, and simply say print S. And if I just try to execute my program, just have a look at this one. If I'm entering a number 5, I'm seeing the answer is odd. If I'm executing and I'm entering a number 4, I'm seeing the number this one. Okay, I hope you've understood what I'm trying to tell you. Suppose I'm trying to enter an integer number, and if the number is a multiple of 3 and I would like to add few values to, I want to increment it by 3. If it is not a multiple of 3, I want to increment it by 2. So I can say if the number is a multiple of 3, then S should be having a value. I can say S plus equal to, what equal to? So I want it to be added with 3. Otherwise, I want it to be added with 2. So what does this mean? This statement, this whole statement actually is trying to tell you, if I try to elaborate, that if A mod 3 is equal to 0, then what do I want? I want that S should be equal to S plus 3. Else, I want to print S is equal to S plus 2. So see how convenient. I have written only these 3 or 4 lines have been converted into a single line like this, and this is what I have just converted. So if I just try to execute this program, and if I say 3, the 3 is a multiple of 3, that means right now, okay, there is one small mistake that we have done over there, which I would like to just rectify. I haven't initialized the value of S, children. So I can say let S be 10, because if you are incrementing this, it should be initialized. So let me just re-execute my program. Here if I am saying the answer 3, my answer will be 13. Can you see that? Because it's a multiple of 3. I am again executing my program. If suppose the answer is 4, this will be false. That means I should get the answer 12. I hope you've understood this part. So just have a quick recall and revision for this one. So again, different ways of writing the if else. Here please remember that on the basis of the condition, if the given condition is true, you have to execute the true expression which is just next to the square bracket. Otherwise, execute the false part. So first one in the round bracket is always false, and the second one is always true. Okay. Similarly, that's first way. The second way is I can do it without a direct print statement. I can even do it using another variable, and I can store these answers in RES, which can be printed like this. So that's the second way of doing it. And finally, our old way of doing it using if else is this one. Okay, so I hope you've understood the different ways of using the if else conditions and even the single liners, and I hope you found them little interesting also, because sometimes we want to show a different method while doing a program, an interesting way of doing the program. So this is again, as I said, is one of the interesting ways of using if else, which is called as a single line or if. And I hope you've understood. If you have any queries, don't forget to write under the comment section. I'll definitely be try to be as prompt as possible. So if you like the video, please do press the like button, share and subscribe, and don't forget to share and recommend to your friends. Have a lovely day, children.